Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss chapter 4, Chemical Calculations from Zama book for SAT. The first part is talking about mole and the molar mass and how can you convert from particles to mole by using Avogadro number or from mass to moles by using molar mass. I can add here two triangles, then we will go to the problems to go to solve the questions. Here, the first triangle that we can make here. Here, moles, and here the number of particles, and here is Avogadro number. Okay, so if I need number of moles, it will be number of particles divided Avogadro. So if I need number of particles, it will be moles times Avogadro number. Okay, this is the first triangle. The second triangle, let's make it bigger. Here, it is the number of moles as well. And here it is the mass in grams, of course, divided molar mass. So if I want to find the number of moles by knowing mass and molar mass, I will divide mass divided molar mass. And if I want to divide mass, or if I want to find mass, I will multiply moles times the molar mass. So let's go and solve the question. Okay, so here 4.1. Number of atoms in 1 mole of sodium compared with 1 mole of aluminum. Whatever is a substance, when we say number of moles is a fixed number, it is always 6.02 times 10 power 23. Atoms, ions, or molecule. So number of moles, it is a fixed number of particle, whatever is the substance, which has the smallest molar mass. Here you have to calculate. The atomic masses are given to you. C, its atomic mass is 12. This is from the periodic table. H1, LO is 16. So calculate the CO. It is 12 plus 1, so CO 12 plus 16, it is a 28. What about CO2? It is a 12 plus 32, it is 44. Okay. H2O, it is 2. H2 means 2 plus 16, so it is 18. Here, H2, O2, so H2, 2, and O2, 32. So the total here is 34. Okay. So here, which has the smallest molar mass is water, 18. So here it's you have to know that calculating the molar mass of the compound equal the atomic masses of its atoms. What is the mass of 2 mole of potassium exactly? Remember the triangles that you have drawn. 2 mole of potassium. Its molar mass is 39. So how can I find the mass? Mass equal number of moles times the molar mass. It's a direct conversion. In the equation, the answer is 78. In the equation, 2H2O reducing 2H2 plus O2, how many grams of oxygen can be produced from 3 mole of water? Here, how can we convert it? In a very simple way. Let's take it here. So let's erase. Look at the equation and determine what are the two substances in the question. How many grams of oxygen and water? So I should focus on oxygen and water. How many mole of water reducing how many mole of oxygen? 2 reducing 1. So I should make like that. 2 is reducing 1. Remember, in Tahsil exam, you have limited time. So 2 give 1. How many grams of oxygen? I will calculate the number of moles of oxygen first. I don't know how many moles. 3 mole of what? So if 2 mole reducing 1 mole, if 2 mole water reducing 1 mole oxygen. So 3 moles, how many grams? First, I will calculate how many moles. By logic, 2 reducing 1, so or you can make cross multiplication. You will find that X equal 1.5 mole. 1.5 mole oxygen. And we just said that in O2, what is the O2 molar mass? It is 32 grams. So 1.5 times 32 will give you 48. Look, 3 mole of water will produce 1.5 mole oxygen. How did I know? I know that from the equation. Because in the equation, every 2 give 1. Every 2, they give 1. So 3 give 1.5. Then we converted the mole to mass multiplying by the molar mass. Okay. In the equation, N2 plus 3H2 giving 2NH3, what mass of hydrogen is required to react completely with 1 mole of nitrogen? Okay, the same idea. What are the 2 substances in the question that you should focus on? What mass of hydrogen is required to react completely with 1 mole of nitrogen? With 1 mole of nitrogen. Okay. They are hydrogen. The 2 substances are hydrogen and nitrogen. So here, every 3 hydrogen produce, or they need 1 nitrogen. You can write 1 nitrogen. They need 3 hydrogen, mole, of course. Okay. So if we, every 1 mole of nitrogen, they need 3 mole of hydrogen. The question is answered. What mass of hydrogen is required to react completely with 1 mole of nitrogen? Okay. There are 3 mole of nitrogen. 3 mole of hydrogen are needed to react with 1 mole. So what is the mass of a 3 mole hydrogen? Yes, times the molar mass of H2, not H. H2, the molar mass of H2 means 1 times 2 equal to. So 3 mole times 2, so equal 6 grams. Let's move to the next problem. In the equation, CH4 plus 2O2 giving CO2 plus H2. What is the mass of CO2? Okay, circle it. Produced from 4 grams of methane. Here, this type is called mass to mass or mass to mass conversion. Mass to mass conversion. I have 4 grams of methane. First, you should convert this mass to mole to can compare in the equation. Right. So first, I should find the molar mass of methane. CH4 molar mass equal 12 plus 4 equal 16. So 4 divided 16, 4 grams, how many moles? 0.25 mole. 4 grams, they represent 0.25 gram, 0.25 mole. In the equation, every 1 gives 1. Logic. 0.25 will produce 0.25 CO2. Converted to gram, what is the mass of CO2? I should know the molar mass of CO2. CO2. 12 plus 32, 44. Okay, so now I have the molar mass of CO2. I have the number of moles of CO2, 0.25. Find the mass, 0.25 times 44. It will be 11. So again, the 4 grams here that are given, we converted them to mole first to know how many moles. 4 grams, how many moles? They are 4 grams. 4 grams are 0.245 mole because the molar mass, the mass of 1 mole is 16 molar mass. In the equation, every one, here's the coefficient is 1, the coefficient is 1. If every 1 mole produces 1 mole, so 0.25 is producing 0.25 mole. And to convert the number of moles to mass. So the answer is 11. Okay. How many moles in 60 gram of CO2? Of course, we'll convert divided by the molar mass directly. Here the rule is moles equal mass over molar mass. 62 divided 44 is 1.5. 1.5. If the mass of 1 mole of a substance is 17 gram, how many moles in 34 gram? 2, sure. It is the mass of 1 mole means what? Molar mass. Find the moles. Moles equal mass over molar mass is 2. You shouldn't take time in such questions. How many moles in 20 gram of NaOH? But here the molar mass is not given. You have to calculate it. How can I calculate the molar mass? The molar mass, it is the sum of atomic masses of its atom. NaOH, how many Na? It is 1. So 23. How many O? It is 16. It is only 1 O. How many H? It is only 1 H equal 1. It is 40 gram per mole. It is 40 gram per mole. Okay. How many moles in 20 gram? If the molar mass is 20, so how many moles in 20? It is 40. So how many gram 20? It will be half. 20 divided 40. Okay. In the equation, in this equation, N2 plus 3H2 giving 2NH3. How many moles of hydrogen are required to react with 2 moles of nitrogen? Oh, very, very easy. Easier than the previous one. From the equation, 1 needs 3. So how many moles of hydrogen make like that? N2H2. And 1 needs 3 from the equation. So how many moles of hydrogen are required to react with 2 moles? If 1 needs 3, so 2 needs, 6. Logic. Okay, if you cannot, by the way, if you cannot calculate it logically, so you can make like that. This cross multiplication or crisscross, 3 times 2 divided 1. The value connected with x will be down. 3 times 2 divided 1. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next part, talking about empirical and molecular formula. How can you calculate empirical formula and how can you calculate molecular formula? There are steps for that. Okay. And let's remember the steps together. First, here it's talking about how can you calculate the percent composition of a compound. Percent composition of compound is mass of the compound divided mass of the element. Sorry, the percent composition of compound. It is the percent by mass of each element inside it. The percent composition of a compound is the percent by mass of each element. And for example, percent composition of compound AB is the percent of A inside this compound and the percent of B inside this compound. How can I find percent or percentage of A? Mass of A divided mass of the total compound AB. The same for the percent by mass of B. Okay. Empirical and the molecular formula. This example, as you see, the molecular formula is C6H6. Can I simplify it to a smallest ratio? Yes, divided by 6, it will be CH. It is called molecular and it is called empirical. Okay, another example. N2O4. It is a molecular formula. Can I simplify it? Yes. Divided by 2. It will be NO2. So it's the molecular formula and it is a molecular formula. What do you observe here? I will observe always that the molecular formula is multiple of the empirical formula. The molecular formula is always a multiple of the empirical formula. So, for example, if the mass here is x, what will be the mass of N2O4? Exactly, 2x. If the mass here is x, what will be the mass of the empirical formula? 6x. We will use this relation to find uh, the molecular uh, the molecular mass or the molar mass of the compound, or the molecular formula of the compound as well. Okay. Um, okay. Let's start with the first question. What is the percent by mass of carbon in 32 gram of carbon dioxide? What is the percent by mass of carbon in 32 gram of carbon dioxide? Where the oxygen mass is 8 gram for one atom. Okay. It is 32, and the oxygen is 8. The oxygen is 8 for one atom. So for two atoms, oxygen will be 16. Exactly. Look, it's CO2. The total is what? 32 gram. Just telling you that. LO here, LO, it is 8 for one atom. It means 16 for the two atoms. So what is the mass of carbon? Yeah, 32 minus 16, it will be 16 as well. So what is the percent by mass of carbon? It is 16 out of 32. It will be 50%. So 32, they are 16 oxygen and 16 carbon. So the percent of carbon is 50. 16 over 32 times 100. What is the percent by mass of oxygen in 20 gram of MgO, where the magnesium mass is 12? Okay, very simple. 12, so the oxygen is 8. The oxygen is 8, so 8 divided 20 times 100. What is the percent of 8 in 20? 8 divided 20 times 100 is 40. Two compounds, CH3, CHO, and CH3H7COH have same what? Okay. How can I compare their empirical formula or molecular formula? I should sum all the atom by one subscript. How is that? Yani here I have C and C. No, to write the molecular formula, I should every atom should have only one subscript. Collect it. Okay. And here, for example, this compound, it will be C. See how many C? It is 2. H, how many H? 3 here and 1 here, so H4. How many O? It is 1 O. So the molecular formula of this compound is C2H4O. Right. The same here, write the molecular formula. It is C, how many C? It is C4. H, it is 8. How many O? It is O2. By simplifying that, by dividing by 2, it will give this formula. So we can say they have the same empirical formula. What is the empirical formula of this compound? It will be C2H4O. What is the empirical formula of this compound? The same, because it cannot be simplified. I cannot simplify it more than that. So both of them, they have the empirical formula, C2H4O. Molecular formula, no, they don't. We proved that they don't have the same molecular formula. Is the molecular formula different from that? Molar mass, of course not, because different molecular formula means different molar mass. Chemical properties, absolutely not. They have different structure. It is called aldehyde and it is called an acid, okay, carboxylic acid. Okay. The EF, the EF is the same, or is the same as MF. What is EF and MF? Empirical formula and the molecular formula. Yes, great. When they are equal, they are the same in the compound that cannot be simplified. Remember it, cannot be simplified. I cannot simplify it. Can I simplify that? Yes. So it is not the answer. Can I simplify that? Yes. Divided by 6 it will be CH2. Can I simplify water? No, it is the answer. Make sure, can you simplify that? Yes, it will be CH. So H2. Because one oxygen you cannot simplify it. Which is the simplest form of C6H12? We just solved it here. It will be divide by 6, it will be 1, divide by 6, it will be 2. So CH2. The answer is A. It was a question last year. Okay. What is the molecular formula of a compound with empirical formula of CH2 and the molar mass 28? How can I solve a question like that? As I told you before, look, here I have empirical formula and the molecular formula. I know the molecular formula, or I know the molecular formula of the empirical. The empirical formula, I know it, CH2. I don't know the molecular formula, but I know the mass of the molecular formula. The molar mass, it means the mass of the molecular formula, 28. Okay, right. Can I find the mass of the empirical formula to compare? Exactly, I can. How? CH2. What is the mass of CH2? What is the molar mass of the empirical formula? C is 12. H2 means 2, so it is 14. So 14. Can you find the relation between 14 and 28? Yes. To convert 14 to 28, so we multiply by 2. The same should be here, multiply by 2. It gives me an information that the molecular formula is 2 times the empirical formula. Why? Because the mass of the molecular is double the mass of the empirical. So what will be the molecular formula? Yeah, C2H4, exactly. C2H4. You can make sure. C2 means 12 times 2 and H4, so it will give you 28. Okay? So the answer is A. What is the scientific name of MgSO4 7H2O? Here, 7 means hepta. It is from the hydrate lesson. Magnesium sulfate. We used the ionic compounds naming. It is magnesium, and this group is called sulfate, SO4. And hepta means 7. And water here is named as hydrate. So magnesium sulfate, heptahydrate. Okay, yes, SO4, remember that from grade 10. SO4 is a polyatomic ion called sulfate. Remember what is hydrated salt? Contains water for crystallization, like the previous compound. It is called hydrated salt, hydrate. Remember from 1 to mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca, from 1 to 10. What mass of water in 10 gram of hydrated salt and will be 8.3 gram when heated? The difference. When I heat the hydrate, for example, the previous hydrate that we discussed, MgSO4.7H2O. By heating it, what will happen? Water will leave plus 7H2O. The question here, if here I have 10 gram of the hydrated salt, that's containing water, it will be 8.3 gram after heating. So what is the mass of water? The difference. The mass of water will be the difference between them, which is 1.7 gram. Okay. Thank you very much. It was the first part of chapter 4. See you in the part 2, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.